This is Mick Elliott of Electronic Specifier. I'm on the Texas Instruments stand at Embedded World, and with me is Artem Aginskiy, who is the product line manager for processors at Texas Instruments. Now, developers are always looking under pressure, fast time to market. Well, here we have what TI calls the fastest path to embedded development, and here to track the route through it is Artem Aginskiy.
Thanks, Vic. Appreciate that. Just like you said, right, it's very important for TI that our customers, that often is just a customer that only has one developer doing the whole product, right? It has an excellent experience from conception all the way to releasing that product. And what that means is we completely have to simplify how you engage the offering, hardware, software, as well as the ecosystem partnership. And so what you'll see here today is actually we're showcasing a lot of our investment in that simplification, starting with a lot of boards from TI that are intended to enable our customers, which can be, like I said, just a one developer, to be able to start seamlessly, right? They get everything they need out of box, ready to go, so they don't have to fight and have a hard barrier to start, right? And we do that across the full TI portfolio, right? So there's a few examples here, but ultimately the idea here is make these accessible, make them low cost, make them ubiquitous, right, and easy to use. But of course, hardware alone in this doesn't solve it. We have to talk about software, and that's what we have here, showing you a little bit about how we simplify software if you want to move this.
Okay, just one question here though. I mean, people will associate TI with chips, and here we have boards. Are these all aimed at different applications for the developer?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we like to do is when we develop a chip, right, it's for some kind of problem solution, right, that we want to attack. Maybe that's IoT and we want to have matter-connected devices, right? Maybe it's for AI where you want to have some intelligence in your system. However, a chip doesn't do anything, right? You have to have the board so you can actually get the data in and out, so you can actually connect, so you can actually use it, right? And it takes time to develop a board. So what TI does is we make sure that we have these development kits available from day one, so you don't have to go and start with board design. You can start by seeing the solution to an application and then innovate your own solution on top of it.
And I see here, you know, we've got milli-microwave sensors, we've got vision, all sorts of different applications.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look over here, like I said, I already talked a little bit of Matter, right, in the connectivity world. Microcontrollers, we have a very rich portfolio of all kinds of microcontrollers with integrated analog, again, simplifying that integration. As well as you said yourself, the sensors here, right? Millimeter wave is the hottest technology right now for sensing, right? It's able to detect without light in dark conditions and dust. So in a lot of the use cases where typical cameras may not work as well, that's where millimeter wave comes in, right? But of course, we also have our processors here that interconnect to cameras. And so what you can actually do, combined with all of these solutions in one, you get a connected, smart system that's able to sense and process and make those decisions on the data in real time.
You've got a multi-protocol board here, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a really cool product, CC2340. It actually supports Bluetooth, Zigbee, Matter, and Thread. So very ubiquitous, I would say, when it comes to connectivity. Very unique to enable customers to scale into any ecosystem for connectivity.
Okay, as you said, you know, we can talk about the hardware, but we need some software as well. Right. So let's move on.
Exactly it.
Okay, we've taken the first steps on embedded development with the hardware, and now we're going to move on to the software. So, Artem?
Absolutely. And the interesting thing is software development actually takes the most time, right? Once you develop your hardware, software never stops. Over-the-air updates, you're going to continuously update the system. And so it's really important for developers to have a seamless, frictionless environment for developing their code in. A lot of demos, a lot of references so they can start quickly and get to production quickly, right, with their own innovation. And so what TI does with our software is we provide not just the software development kits, but also the tools that go around them to simplify our developers' lives. And so what we're showing here is on the CC2340, as we talked about on the multi-protocol side, well, multi-protocol can be complicated, right? How do we simplify? And what we actually have is all of our development tools in the cloud on TI.com. So a customer or a developer can show up, plug their board in, and get access to all of the reference, all of the stacks right there and then without having to set up a complicated environment, right? So you can deploy a system very quickly, right there in the cloud, simplified solution.
And this is all TI software?
Absolutely. Yeah, all TI software, all available, free of charge, royalty free, because for us it's an enabler for the developer, right? And we want to make sure that our developers can extract all of the value from those chips that we develop, and the only way they can do that is if we make the software extremely easy for them, right?
And TI offers support if we've got a developer who's access to software and maybe needs a little bit of advice. TI have a team who can support them.
Yes, absolutely. We have a really strong knowledge base on TI.com. We do what we call academies, where you can actually see step-by-step guiding you through how to learn to use this product, how to develop on this product. And again, all available free of charge, free of royalties, right, for any developer. And then, of course, we have our engineer-to-engineer forum where any customer can ask our TI engineers a question, right? Maybe you're struggling with Matter and you're trying to implement it, you want to ask a question. We have that open forum for those discussions available.
Okay, that's the second route on the path, so we move on to the ecosystem. Yeah.
Maybe just one more if I don't mind.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Just we talk a little bit of the multi-protocol side, which is very exciting, but AI is also a extremely exciting innovation in the industry right now. And of course, TI has a number of processors for the edge AI applications, right? Not the cloud, but really at the edge where low power, right, privacy and protection is very important. And so what we've developed is this Edge AI Studio, where customers can actually come in and prototype their AI system on the TI platform before they have to write any lines of code, right? They can bring in their data, they can bring in the models, and they can do all of that before they ever have to write any software, right? And that breaks the barrier of them being able to prototype, show proof of concepts, and really be able to get their project off the ground.
Okay, right. Okay, so the last step on the route, we're looking at the ecosystem. Artem?
Yeah, absolutely, right. We talked on the hardware, we talked on the software, but at the end of the day, TI can't do this alone, right? So we have a very strong ecosystem of partners that provide additional value to our developers, whether that would be community kits, we'll talk a little bit about those here. Maybe it'll be some additional software or different protocols and stacks that may be available in the industry, but our partners are able to bring that additional help that any developer would need. And it starts with the open source community, right? It starts with what we invest in with our Linux, FreeRTOS, and software ecosystem, but also with open source hardware, which is kind of an interesting concept when you think about it, right? Everybody knows about open source software, but what is open source hardware? It's exactly a software. It's a starter for customers and developers to get access to not just the usage of the board, but they get access to all those schematics, documentations, and that makes, again, their lives a lot easier because they can get that started. And so one of those open source hardwares that we have here today is this brand new product from TI and a brand new product from BeagleBoard organization. And this is the our AIM-6-7 product, which is our processor that has AI capabilities built in, right? Very low power, but has a lot of performance available to our customers. And so what BeagleBoard has done is integrated this into a very small form factor board, as you can see here, that is completely open source. So developers can show up to beagleboard.org, get access to the files, ask questions, and really engage the community, and get access to these boards very easily. And that's really a strong value to accelerating time to market, right? That TI alone couldn't do, but together with our partners, stronger than we ever could be alone.
I mean, BeagleBoard is one of a number of open source. Was there a particular reason you went with BeagleBoard?
So it's the other way around. We engage everybody in the community, and Beagle has been a great partner working with TI for a long time. Okay. And so we always engage with them early. But of course, they're not alone. As you can see, we have a number of different boards here for many different partners. And if you actually tour the booth and around the show today, you'll see there are a lot of the partners who have their own booth are showcasing quite a few different kits for TI platforms as well. But one thing that we particularly like about BeagleBoard is their open source commitment, right? And it's very, I think, important in the industry to maintain the open source focus.
Okay, so that's the path to embedded development, and you're now saving developers a huge amount of time and getting their products to market.
Absolutely, right? Again, the biggest barrier to get to the market is proving your concept and then actually executing on it. And executing on that concept can be years. And if it's years, you may be too late to the market because somebody else beat you to it. So speed is important in this game. And so by simplifying the access to the development tools, simplifying the software, simplifying the hardware, what we ultimately enabling our developers is to get to production much, much faster, right? Realize their vision much, much faster, and collectively, right, improve the solutions out in the market.
And you're with them every step of the way.
Absolutely. As I said, right, TI.com is an excellent learning tool. Like as I mentioned, academies, right, that anybody can show up and learn about how to develop for a Matter or for an AI system, right? And then from there, ask questions to a TI developer, right? If you're trying TI software and you don't understand something, we have those forums where developers can engage us, right? And of course, we do the same in the open source community, right? You can find us on the Linux mailing list. You can find us on the FreeRTOS mailing list. We're very much engaged in the community because we find it so important to our vision.
Okay, that's terrific. Artem Aginskiy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mick. It was a pleasure.